Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. My question is again to the Premier. Yesterday, the Premier said that if stopping the sell-off of Hydro One is a priority, then investing in infrastructure would have to take a back seat. Now, just because the Premier says that Ontario can't have affordable public power and build infrastructure at the same time doesn't mean it's true. In fact, if the Premier continues to repeat it, doesn't make it any more true. My question to the Premier is this. I'm pretty sure that Ontario has had public
Minister of Economic Development.
a century. And I'm also sure that over that century that we've built infrastructure, we've invested
The member from Eglinton Lawrence.
and transportation infrastructure. My question is, why can't this Premier do the same thing?
Mr. Speaker, it's very interesting. The member opposite makes the assertion that there has been building of infrastructure in a rational way over decades. And, Mr. Speaker, that's actually not true. The reality is that there were long periods, there were decades where infrastructure was not built, where investments were not made, Mr. Speaker. And we know that if there isn't a 5% investment in infrastructure year over year, and that can be a combination of federal, provincial and municipal contribution, Mr. Speaker, then in fact we're not even keeping up with, let alone building new infrastructure that's needed. So we've actually tackled that, Mr. Speaker, and we've actually broken that cycle of neglect that had been in place for at least 20 years, Mr. Speaker.
Answer.
So we're going to continue to build infrastructure because that leads to economic growth, Mr. Speaker, and that leads to the well-being of people in this province.
Thank you. Supplementary.
Mr. Speaker, the Premier said that, quote, when she travels to other countries and talks to businesses about coming to Ontario, they want to know about infrastructure, end quote. I think that makes sense. And a part of that infrastructure is the cost of hydro.
That's right.
Now, does the Premier admit that sky-high hydro rates are hurting current businesses here in Ontario and discouraging other businesses from investing in our province?
Actually, Mr. Speaker, I will tell you that in all of the conversations that I have had in other countries, the number one issue that people raise with me is availability of talented, skilled people. That is the number one concern, and it is the number one reason that businesses come to Ontario. If you talk to Thomson Reuters, Mr. Speaker, the reason that they are coming here explicitly is because of a terrific supply chain of well-educated, talented people. So, Mr. Speaker, that is who we are in Ontario. That is what we are selling to the world, Mr. Speaker. And we're leading economic growth in this country largely because of our talented, skilled.
Clock, please. Be seated. Thank you. Final supplementary.
The same sort of false logic. By talking about the rising price of hydro, I didn't in any way talk about the fact that we don't have a talented pool of people, but it shows this government's lack of logical rationale. They can't address the issue. So, while talking on the topic of drawing businesses to Ontario, the Ontario government should also look at what the Ontario Chamber of Commerce has had to say about our current hydro system in this province. The 2017 economic report states the experience that many households have with respect to rising electricity rates are amplified when it comes to businesses, end quote. The report goes on to note that the uncertainty with respect to these rates are discouraging businesses from investing here in this province, and that means less jobs for the people of Ontario. So here's the reality. We need to invest in infrastructure. We need to build not only affordable public hydro, but a public transit system and transportation infrastructure. But instead of selling a false choice that people don't believe, will the government actually start to do that?
Premier.
Mr. Speaker, it'd be nice if the NDP would stop talking down our economy. Our business community and the people of this province and the talented people the Premier talked about have worked very hard with this government to build this economy up. They've created 700,000 net new jobs, yet the party opposite keeps talking their efforts down. That's not fair. And then they say that
Minister.
Speaker, they talk those efforts down by saying they're part-time jobs. Wrong. 90% are full-time. They talk them down by saying they're not good-paying jobs. Wrong. 80% are above the average wage. They say that they're public sector jobs. Wrong. 75% are private sector. Wrong.